calling today's monologue the sky. It's been neat to allow myself to and just push and encourage myself to look up at the sky in the morning. The previous 2 mornings, I could see Venus. I noticed the sky is so much darker now. And just to observe and soak that in for a moment, I could feel my anger, my frustration melting away. I could feel calm and comfort returning, that the sky is still there. The light pollution hasn't, it's okay here, I can see it, it's okay. And there's other stars. I said, oh, okay, 2 mornings in a row. And because it's a changing entity, but it's so vast. It definitely has an effect on people when we pause and observe it. I've noticed some people really seem to be drawn to the day sky, and some people really seem to be drawn to the night sky. I used to really enjoy looking at the day sky, the clouds and things, and watching the planes go by. I remember that as a child. But then as it became just a little older, the learning about constellations, I became so much more fascinated with the night sky. Because here was a map that I just couldn't understand. Couldn't quite get my head around how to read the star chart maps and compare it to the sky to actually even understand what I'm actually looking at. I couldn't make sense of it, which fascinated me even more, because I could hear stories of other people that they just had telescopes, or they invented telescopes, so they would, without telescopes, just look at the night sky, and they were able to figure it out, placing rocks or sticks in the ground, and they were able to understand. But seeing that as a flat piece of paper, I couldn't quite get there. It was fascinating. And this morning, I go out, and I felt at first a slight sense of disappointment. Oh, it's morning. It's too bright now. That wasn't it at all. The moon was just in that slightly different position, and full and bright, and there was clouds, and it was so bright, even though all the rest of the sky is actually very close to a black. That moon and the clouds were so bright, it gave me the impression that it was actually the early beginnings of dawn, even though it was in the wrong part of the sky. And that was just neat. I just got to pause and okay, there's the moon. And I felt that disappointment, like, aw, there's clouds. But then I just did, and oh wait. So, well, first of all, I could be grateful that, hey, there's the moon. Then I said, oh, I wonder, because there's little gaps in the clouds. I said, I wonder if I could still see Venus. I'm not sure if I saw her. She seemed to be much higher in the sky and maybe not quite as bright. But that little white dot, I don't think it was twinkling. And I look over to my right. I could see another star closer to the moon. A little white dot. But it had that shimmer. Okay, maybe that is. Just look up and keeping I realize I'm able to bend my neck all the way up and look right above me. And I just had a feeling of, oh, that feels nice. Oh, I thought I'd lost such flexibility. Oh, this is nice. And this morning, I'll share this with you this morning, Thusi, kitty cat, he came out on the balcony with me, and for the previous 2 mornings he hasn't. And that was just neat. He was enjoying it, having his time. And then, okay, it's been a couple minutes. Of course we could stare at the sky forever, but we need to move on and do other human stuff. Try to coax him back in. No, he wanted to stay out, of course. But I get him back into the apartment here, and as I'm closing, there's a screen door and a glass door, and you need to close the screen door first, and then close the glass door, which is on the innermost. Closing the screen door, and Thusi cat, he's never done this before. He just goes to jump out. He just jumps over the little door jamb, and boom, he's back outside, punching a hole through the screen, or loosing it from its mount. So that was just a funny moment. He wasn't harmed in any way. It just gave way easily. It was a neat, funny moment. But just the sky and being outside, and isn't it fascinating how no matter what's going on in your life, as soon as we step outside, we start to feel better. Now just breathing becomes easier, and just we notice like the temperature on our face, right, and the wind and the feeling. And I can almost say it's kind of neat that when you go outside, the temperature outside from that first instant, it's always the right temperature. Super hot, muggy, super cold. Just go, it's like our bodies can adapt or appreciate. It's so pleasant, that first surge of proper outdoor air. We don't actually even are bothered by the temperature. And of course, the moments later we're able to register, oh, it is too hot, oh, it is too cold, and so forth. But just that first instant, and that dark sky, maybe we would call the day sky like the earth sky. We're able to kind of see the earth atmosphere, but we're able to see that cosmic sky, the sky that tells us we are not alone. There is other things out there, other planets and worlds and stars, and the day sky doesn't do that for us. There was an artist in residence through at my work, and several months ago they released I'm not sure if it was stitching or beadwork or a little bit of both, but it was a visual. And the story behind it was a picture of the day sky, a representation of the day sky in thread and bead. And the narration about it was either she took a picture or that was the instant that her mom in one part of the province was looking up at the sky at the same moment as she was looking up at the sky, even though they were both in different locations. So it was a neat, special moment for the two of them, and it allowed them to reflect that, hey, even though, we might feel some turmoil in our life, the sky is unites us and links us, and the sky is strong and steady and a beautiful, beautiful piece. But my response to it was, yeah, but she's totally correct, right? The day sky. The day sky hasn't changed, at least in this part of the world, from how it was thousands of years ago. We don't really have any day pollution. Forest fires in August here, that's been for forever. So day sky hasn't changed. My yeah but was the night sky. And I tried to make a note. I start about a poem of how can I artistically and respectfully share back my thoughts that that how can I contribute to the human understanding and share that, hey, your piece inspired me, that I can add as well to the human understanding and the human story. But the night sky is now on fire. It burns, and it's polluted with orange light from cities. I can't see the stars anymore. I look up frequently at night, and I can't discern, are those clouds or not, because there's no features. It's just a dome of burning, a dome of orange. But these last 3 mornings have recharged me a little bit and calmed that thought I had, that the night sky still is okay. Yes, it's burning, and we could be a little bit dramatic about it, and yes, there could be pause and notable arguments for dialing back our night pollution and our electric lights. But the night sky is still there. I've heard other people comment in bigger cities that they don't get to see the stars anymore, and the galaxy Milky Way spiral like we used to not too many years ago, 150 years ago. That's how the sky looked to everybody in the world. I guess before electric light we still had whale, oil and gas lamps, maybe 250 years ago. But still, not too long. But this person says that in really big cities, the only thing they can see is the moon. And when I saw the moon this morning, I got to thinking, yeah, but at least it's the moon. At least we can still see something, right? We could be disappointed. And we can focus on the loss of all the stars and everything else. We can also say, at least we can still see the moon. It moves, and it waxes and wanes. There are stories of people in prisons and dungeons and stuff over the years, where they the window might have been just above their head, but so many tens or 20s of feet above their head, and they could look up and they could see the sky, and that meant something to them, that helped them through. So that it's an important practice, and it's a helpful behavior to look up, whether it's with the clouds. Just, hey, we've always had clouds like this. That's never changed, and it was only recently, only in the last year or so, a new type of cloud was discovered. We're humans, we're still trying to understand the day sky with all the Latin names we have for clouds. We're still discovering that there's another type of how the moisture and the dust and the atmosphere can be observed. A new type of cloud. Or there's the night sky as well to help us through. I realized yesterday that this would be my topic for this morning. That it's a bit of I suppose it's a bit of a pun or some humor, that isn't it fascinating, and I'll end on this, isn't it fascinating how grounding the sky is. All for now. Adaptation. Until next time.